Happy Thursday, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moyer. Welcome to Evertalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Thursday, Friday,
Thursday
at 9 a.m. on Apple TV and Roku via the Evertalk app for all things happiness in Hollywood, a little pop culture and positivity. I am so glad it's Thursday.
I feel you on that. You know, I remember working a management consulting job, and we had a schedule called 3-4-5 schedule, which meant 3 days you travel, the 4th day you're like back home, the 5th day you're in the office, and I think maybe secretly that's the kind of schedule you want to, Jess, huh? Like a 4-day work week. It's nice.
Well, when we have so many amazing guests like we do,
It's true.
I don't mind sticking around for 5 days. And did you see the art behind us, Rob?
I did. It's absolutely beautiful.
So excited to welcome the artists to the show. Good morning, everyone. Back in the studio. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi. We're so excited that you're all here with us today, honoring this happy Thursday. So we've got Alexa Carlin in the house. She's the founder of Women Empower X. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
So,
Feel the excitement.
It's awesome. The day with the right energy.
Exactly. That's why you start your morning every morning with us, right?
Of course.
Exactly. So how do you wake up and stay woke? What's your morning routine?
I wake up every day thinking about at least one thing that I'm truly grateful for, and then I visualize the big picture of what I want to achieve and remind myself of all the possibilities, really shifting my mindset to start off on the right track and always reminding myself to surrender to the journey and trust the journey.
I love that. Well, what a fantastic way to start the day. Probably have a whole hour left after that's done, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, thanks so much for being with us. Hot off Showtime's hit series, Kidding. We've got Gwen Hollander in the house. Good morning, Gwen.
Morning. Thank you for having me.
We're excited you're here. So tell us, how do you wake up and stay woke?
Wake up and stay woke. So the first thing, my husband and I, we have 2 dogs, and each of us cuddles one dog, whichever one wants to be with each of us, and then coffee. So dogs and coffee. That's my morning.
All right, keep it simple.
I think best way to start the
Yeah,
day.
that's right. The love, no caffeine.
Well, Michael B is in the house. He's an artist, philanthropist, entrepreneur. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm super excited to be here. I'm just gonna jump straight into it. Up at 5:30. I want to allow myself only 10 minutes to roll out of bed. I go straight to the gym, and then I go back and jump in my unheated pool, and that will shock me and get me ready for a day so I can kick ass all day.
A cold plunge.
Exactly.
For you.
Well, you must find that very inspiring. I think it sounds torturous, but I'm loving the art. Thank you so much for decorating our studio today.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much to you too as well.
We're very honored to welcome Neil Green back to the show and announce that we are going to Miami next week with you. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning. How are you?
We're so excited about the conference next week. I know we'll talk about that
We
more
are
later.
super excited.
Yes, in the show. But how do you start your day? How do you wake up and stay woke?
Pretty simple. Wake up pretty early, put on some high energy dance music, dance around the house a little bit, grab some coffee, and then get to work. That's really my day. And from there, it just kind of goes on. But it's a great way to start the energy.
Wow, love the dance concert. So do you Insta story that? Or no?
You know what? I've got a playlist. If you want, I'll show it to you later. It's a great playlist.
That's right, all right. The BTS there.
Might juice up the LinkedIn profile if you
Exactly.
did, right?
Totally. Love that.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Victoria Park is in the house, breakout actress from CW's The Flash. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to hear more about the series and all about you. But first, tell us, how do you wake up and stay woke?
Well, I also have a dog, but he is not allowed to sleep in the bedroom with us. My husband is very strict on that rule, so I usually wake up to him whining and crying and pawing at the door to want to play, and then I wake up and we go for a long walk and we play for a couple of minutes, and it's a good way to start my day and remind myself of how grateful I am to be alive and have another day and have my dog.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a little mutt. He's like this big. He looks like a long-haired Chihuahua, but bigger and cuter, I think.
Oh.
Oh, I love that. I miss a little puppy love. It's a good thing I've got Rob back.
Yeah, my niece is called me Puppy. I don't exactly know why, but yeah, I'm Justin's puppy officially.
Yeah, you're so full of puppy love. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Jessica Gandolfini is in the house. She's the founder of Harmonium and the host of the hit podcast, Hiking in Heels. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. Very grateful to be here. Grateful to be with all these incredible beings. It's a fantastic energy. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So tell us, how do you wake up and stay woke?
Up super early. I think there's a bit of a theme going on here actually. Super early. Normally up 4:35. 3 things that I'm grateful for every single morning, whatever those are, will come to me as I wake up. And then 45 minutes of meditation. I need time out because the minute my meditation is done, I'm full on as a mum. So up with the dogs, coffee actually first. Used to be tea, but I've been in LA too long, so now it's coffee. Coffee, let the dogs out, feed the dogs, feed the cat, get the kids up, and then get them to school before I go and either walk by the beach, get some fresh air and focus my thoughts, or go and ride a bike in a dark room going nowhere at SoulCycle. And then I'm ready to go.
Wow, that is not a cup of coffee, that is a pot of coffee right there.
Exactly.
Good for her.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah. Really put things in perspective for you.
Oh, seriously. Well, we're so excited to announce David Fernandez in the house. He's next seen in Netflix hit series David Kramer. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're so excited for you. So how does an actor like you start your day? How do you wake up and stay woke?
So I wake up, but before I even open up my eyes, I begin with gratitude. After that, I put my feet on the floor. I look at my vision board, start visualizing what I'm trying to, attract and bring into my life. Then after that, I'll pop in a positive video on YouTube.
All right. Any favorite videos these days?
They're literally all recommended on my YouTube.
Nice.
So I just literally click on any motivation, inspirational, Les Brown, Anthony Robbins, Gary Vee, the list goes on.
See, there are positive benefits to the algorithm.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for being with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation with each of you later in the show.
And it is a good point that they just kind of pop up right after you start choosing.
Oh, absolutely.
Good to be intentional early on with that.
I'm just continually inspired how these amazing people that we get to meet every single day, they start their day, and the majority of them in gratitude.
It's true. At least they say so.
Right. So I've really tried to flip my mindset because I'm not going to lie, when my alarm goes off, I have a tendency to think, oh, the last thing I want to do is get out of this bed right now. When I'm so excited to do it, I thought, I've really got to flip the script in my head. I love this bed. It's so warm. I'm so excited to start my day. I wish I could stay just a little longer. But I really do think it's just so important to positively reframe the script in your head.
Jess, that's so critical. And of course, I remember I'd say most of my life, at least half of my life, I had a job that I didn't particularly love. Maybe I lived in a city I didn't particularly love, and I didn't love the weather either, right? And it made it really hard to get out of bed. When it's cold, or it's rainy outside, or it's snowing, and you're going to a job that you don't necessarily love, though you do love the money that comes from it, it's really hard to get up. And I remember at some point knowing very clearly that I had to sort of shift my mindset around that, or I was just going to live a life of misery. Mostly, right? So it's nice to get off on the right foot. I know you do things now that work for you. What do you do now?
Well, it's just positively reframing, really. That's all it is. We're so excited. Everybody.
I know, it's a captive audience.
Super excited and really intentionally expecting the unexpected. Like yesterday, when I got this great message from Derek Orbutin, who's the founder of Evertalk magazine, and he said, "Doll, I've got this great, esthetician. She's in town. She's coming from the desert. Do you want a facial?" I said, yes, I want a facial. Keep me ready for my close-up, please. So special thanks to Robin from New Mark Beauty for keeping me camera ready this morning. But it was just so amazing because I didn't expect that. And it was the first thing I saw when I got up in the day.
See, I have to agree with you there. Like, I've always loved giving unexpected gifts and receiving unexpected gifts. There's something about holidays when the gift is sort of expected that it just doesn't have the same kind of pizzazz to it. I just don't feel as inspired by it all, but it's nice. That's one of the benefits, I guess, of working in entertainment is the swag. The esthetician, that's fantastic.
Exactly. Gifts are a love language, and it's one of mine for sure if anyone's watching.
Yeah, indeed.
Always happy to receive.
It's so interesting you mentioned that, Jess. So I'm running this new book now called The Power of Persuasion. And in my private practice, I've got a lot of folks that are sales people or sales managers, sales directors, and they're all trying to basically level up in terms of their sales ability or their persuasiveness. So even the executives who aren't in sales, they want to be more persuasive, more influential. And it's so interesting because this book really boils down some of the most complex scientific principles and helps you to apply them in your daily life. And one of the best, of course, persuasion tactics is giving gifts, right?
Really?
Yeah, because it engages the law of reciprocity, right? So when somebody gives you something, particularly if it's unexpected and it's personal, you suddenly feel like, oh man, at some point I should probably give that person something back. Right? And so often you'll find that salespeople will give you a little small gift, and then knowing that it's going to engage this sort of desire within yourself to return the favor.
It's interesting though, because I love to give authentically and I expect nothing in return. But knowing that maybe I will get something in return,
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because people can kind of, even though we might say all the right things, if inside you're giving them a gift and you're secretly just wanting to get something back from the person, you can kind of feel that, can't you?
Oh, completely.
Someone does that, yeah. So that's a key part of it, is sort of like making sure that you're not broadcasting like emotionally, that you're just doing it to get an effect.
That's really hard though. For me, sales is not my strong suit. And
Yeah.
I don't feel like I want to sell anything. I just want to give everything. But that can affect people's businesses, especially for artists like Michael, right?
Totally.
Because they give to the world, they share their art, and a lot of times they're not receiving
Sure,
the financial
yeah.
needs that they need to sustain a life.
It's true. It's kind of annoying these days, right? Because I feel like somebody's always trying to sell you something, and it's exhausting. Like whether you're online, whether you're out in person, it's like somebody's always wanting to. And I get it, because everybody's got a product or a service of themselves that they're wanting to sell. But one of the greatest sales tactics to sell things is to not try so hard. So a slow play, like a slow build, is apparently much more effective than like going in right away and like always be closing. That apparently is not a specifically or particularly good tactic scientifically.
Says one of the most humble men on earth.
I've never been into
Also
sales
has a
either.
book for sale. Happiness from the
This is
inside
true,
out.
which I never try to sell, and I basically forget that I even wrote it.
Right?
Yeah, it's
I'm
wild.
Selling my wine, Moyer Rosé,
Yeah.
available shipping nationwide at MoyerRosé.com.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because I just want to share it with the
Yes,
world.
Jez.
It's not about selling it.
I genuinely think so. One of the things that the book was saying too is that, look, if you're in sales or you want to be more persuasive, one of the best things you can do is, first of all, be honest, right? And second of all, be likable, right? And one of the ways to be more likable is essentially to like other people. If you express genuine, authentic gratitude and compliment other people, and don't expect anything necessarily back, people will perceive you not only as more sort of likable, but also more trustworthy, and that will actually increase your ability to sell. So you're doing something right, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, and so are our guests. Be sure to keep streaming. We'll be back with some incredible people later in the show. Stay tuned. 5, 4, 3, 2. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm your host, Jez Moyer, aka the Trading Bell. What a morning it will be. Due to recent news, we're expecting that the market will be down today, but that could potentially present some opportunity for us. Let's take a look at our watch list. One of the things that differentiates the Trading Bell from any of the other stock shows, other than we do live trading, is everything that we do is on camera, so you can see it as it happens. You are seeing what's happening right now in this moment. 2020, it's all about money, money, money. That is my motto. Remember, money never sleeps, pal. That's right. That's why I'm here trading in Los Angeles live with you at the opening bell. Whew, sun is not even up yet, but the stocks are on the move. Numbers are moving faster than I can even speak. Well, let's face it. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I've got goosebumps. This is a history in the making. Top of the list, SVRA up 154% this morning. Build BVI at 162. Ah, that feels good. BPH, Spring Bake Pharmaceuticals up 22%. That is going to make for a very sweet start to 2020. Filled. Woo! That feels good. Just a disclaimer, this is an entertainment show, so please don't treat any of the information you hear on the show as an investment advice, because trading is risky. Let's end the year strong. Visit Evertalk TV, Facebook, or Instagram at The Trading Bell. Remember, every dream has its price. What's yours? Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Evertalk Live. I am beyond honored to welcome this incredible artist to the show. Michael B., thank you so much for being with us and for sharing this beautiful art with us today.
Really beautiful.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be with you guys.
So tell us a little bit about your journey from Denmark to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'll just keep it in short, but I don't think we have all that time for me. So I'll keep it short. I think deep inside I always wanted to get like bigger opportunities that the country I grew up in could offer me, but I didn't know like where and what and how to get there. And I just started painting graffiti when I was 16 years old. So that was where the journey started. And then I got into graphic design, and I started an advertising agency. And I was convinced that I was going to do that for the rest of my life until I found out that I felt trapped doing corporate designs and all this, that I could just feel inside that I had to express me in a way was free, that I want to be set free. And when I moved to LA, I felt that I was free. And the pieces you see in my studio is like a part of that journey. It's like the paint is still wet almost. It's my most recent pieces, and it's also like a term and my manifestation that I work with, that everything is possible. That's how I live my life, and how I also express that in my pieces.
Wow, fantastic.
That was so fun.
So when you came to LA and you began this business, what was the best thing you did to get it rolling?
I think the best thing was to get out of my comfort zone and not listening to the noise. And it's gonna sound crazy, but sometimes the people that love you the most will give you the most terrible advice. Because truth. So I didn't listen to that.
Yeah.
I always have like support from my parents and my family, but they thought it was a little crazy how I would first of all skip my education when I studied graphic design, start my own design agency, and then say, oh, I think I want to sell my agency now, and then I just want to dedicate all my life to my art. And oh wait, I also want to move to LA now, to other side of the world. And it's like, whoa, and then like, should you wait a little to move to LA? And just like, I'm gonna do it now, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I did that. I listened to my calling, my inner voice. Yeah.
Was it scary?
It's funny. I think that I didn't, and I'm happy that I didn't think about it too much. So like learning by doing, you know.
I think it's so amazing how you say you had freedom here in LA, but what do you think it is about LA that's led to your great success?
I think that I could offer LA something that was different. I see LA as a super relaxed and chilled city, and I love that around me. However, I have like a great deal of work ethic and discipline, and I could actually withstand all the offers of like Hollywood Hills parties. Of course, I've been, but you know, I would also say no to a lot of stuff and wake up early in the morning, skip the parties, and you know, kind of like delay gratification and believing more in the long-term fulfillment.
Sounding very much like Drake. No new friends, no Calabasas parties.
But I know positivity and mindfulness has played a great role in your success as an artist as well. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so I actually had an identity crisis during the transition from having the design agency and going over to live off my art. And mindfulness played a huge role because I could feel that I was burned out. And what I do also requires this like hard work. And I've always thought that what I'm doing is not good enough, that I'm not good enough. And those are the thoughts that will occupy my mind. However, I turn that into a strength, like a close friend, because when I have that somebody else, the voice inside telling me that I'm not good enough, that just means I'm going to prepare more. So I will like be ahead of the game, because I will always think it's not good enough, so I'll push myself more. But how to control these thoughts that will at these most inconvenient times tell you exactly,
yeah.
right
when you need to finish it, you're almost done.
Come on,
stroke.
you know. And you know what, the most important thing I learned in mindfulness was, and it was almost that something was lifted off my shoulders, that thank God it's only thoughts. It's only stuff that's going on in your mind because somebody at some point told you that, but you are not what people tell you are. I believe like you are your intentions, and I started to believe in that during a mindfulness trip to this almost abandoned church at this island. I went there with my brother. We did like walking meditation, and even like days where you are like unplugged from the world, no Wi-Fi, no Instagram, no live talk show, no nothing.
We used to call that the 80s. That was
Exactly.
the 80s, man.
And it was a beautiful trip down memory lane, I tell you that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what's next for you?
So next for me, it's I don't even know where to start. So first of all, I'm having a show here in LA. Actually, these pieces you have here in the studio is be on view at the Maddox Gallery here in West Hollywood on Beverly Boulevard. And I'm doing a big brand collab as well. I can't reveal that, and I'll definitely recommend people to follow my Instagram, because I'm super up to date there, what's going on there.
Well, where can they follow you?
So my Instagram is Michael Mikael B, and it's the verified one.
Yeah. Nice. Good luck.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. We so appreciate you, and I can't wait to continue to follow your journey in Europe.
Oh, thank you very much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Evertalk Live. Welcome back to Evertalk Live. We are here with the founder of Harmonium LA. So tell us a little bit about what that is and what you're doing.
What is that? What is
Yes.
Harmonium?
Sounds
So many
great.
people are like, what is Harmonium exactly? So yes, I am the founder of Harmonium LA, which is a hands-on holistic healing practice in Venice, here in California. And basically it's an energetic healing treatment. So a lot of people say to me, what is that exactly? How is that working? And basically what it's doing, it's working on the energy body, and it's helping with emotional imbalance. So a lot of the time we're looking for healing, we're looking for techniques that are going to take us to that level of really coming from a space of ultimate permanent healing. That's what we ultimately want to do, is find a space where we can heal permanently. And that's very difficult, you know, in today's modern world. So what I'm doing is I'm working with the Harmonium Healing System. And the Harmonium Healing System is actually, it's a hands-on energetic treatment, which is working on the emotional body. And it's the application of divine spiritual wisdom.
It's so interesting because I think people are always looking for something outside of themselves to heal. A
100%.
a drug, a surgery, whatever it might be.
Person, relationship.
Relationship,
That's right,
exactly.
yeah.
A Prada bag, when really it's just
It is.
adjusting the energy so our bodies can heal themselves.
And that's it. That's exactly it. And it's, everything is energy. We know that. We talk about it all the time. We talk about how you walk into a room and you think, oh, I didn't like the vibe, or I didn't like the energy of that person. Oh my gosh, that person, that energy was off. Everything is energy. We are energetic beings at the end of the day, and we are so connected to spirit, to the universe, to God. We're all connected at the end of the day, each one of us. And like you say, we're looking externally. What do I need to fix this? Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not surviving. I'm surviving, but I'm not thriving. So where can I go to fix that? So a lot of the time, you know, most of that will come from some kind of traumatic experience that we have been through, whether we're aware of it or not. 90% of what hurts us, we can't even see. It's the emotional piece that affects us. And, you know, there's a really great book which I love, which is The Body Keeps the Score, which I'm sure you've heard of. And he talks very much about how a traumatic experience will affect the chemical imbalance within the brain, and it will manifest in some physical way, shape, or form.
Even your DNA.
Exactly. So whether it's from this lifetime or previous, you know, from our lineage. And so we will look for the quick fix. We will look for perhaps the numbing behaviors, or we will look for the escapist behaviors that we think are going to fix the problem, or the drugs that might help, the antidepressants or the medicines. And there's a place for all of those things. But ultimately, unless you attack the root cause of the problem, you're never going to permanently heal. And our bodies are incredibly intelligent, and they know what to do to heal. Like, we don't need to think about it. If we fall over and cut our knee will heal on its own. We don't have to think about
Like
it.
a miracle.
Yes.
Exactly,
Literally.
and
Yeah,
that's the thing,
absolutely.
100%. And I say to people, they say, well, what is Harmonium, and what is it that you're doing exactly? I say, well, it's kind of a bit like magic, because all we're doing is activating the self-healing capacity within the body. And when you do that, your body is intelligent enough to know what it needs to do to fix itself.
So what does that look like? So a person, you know, contacts you and says, "Oh, Jessica, I need help, you know, and I want healing, and I need your help to sort of realize that healing."
Yeah.
What does it look like in terms of a session?
So it's a 45-minute session. So clients will come to me. I have a studio in Venice, and they come in, and it's a massage couch. So you'll lie down fully clothed on your belly. I cover you with a very light sheet, and then we're working directly on the spine. So it's very light touch. So people say, well, is it like a massage? Is it like Reiki? No, it's not like any of those things. Yes, in some respects it is, but ultimately what we're doing is we're working from the nape of the neck to the base of the spine. It's a set series of movements which are specifically designed to activate the parasympathetic side of the nervous system. So when we talk about energy and we talk about healing trauma and emotional imbalances within the body, we need to look at addressing the entire neurological system, because that is what will control and regulate everything else within our bodies. And so if we can balance that neurological system and balance the fight or flight, which is our sympathetic side of the nervous system, with the parasympathetic side of the nervous system, which is the rest and digest, if we can balance those two pieces of the nervous system, then we start to be able to work at a much deeper level of healing.
How did you personally discover this system?
I know, I love that, because you know what, harmonium is not a new system. I say to people, I like to market it as a new concept in healing because nobody's ever heard of it.
Yeah.
So it's almost new to a lot of people. It was actually first developed 26 years ago by my spiritual master, Dr. Joseph Michael Levery. He's my spiritual teacher. He also has a PhD in engineering. So he developed the system 26 years ago. And I love the story that he had 26 students in his first class, and he was working with them on the 26 vertebrae in the spine. Now, you know, you can say what you like, but there's a reason for everything. And I just love that, you know, and he works very much with the fact that the universe is mathematical and everything is based on numbers. And so if you can combine the logic and the mathematical side with the spiritual side and that divine spiritual wisdom and bring them together, then you can create a healing system which is really going to aid permanent healing. So to go back to your question, I came across it as a client because I had tried everything else and nothing else had worked, and so I came to it as a last resort. I dealt with a really aggressive eating disorder for 25 years. I was a high-functioning alcoholic for the last 9 years, and I got to the point where I realized that something had to change. I can keep going like this and I can keep surviving, but this is not okay for me. This is not the message that I want to send to my kids, to my family. I need to show up as the greatest, grandest vision of myself now. How am I going to do that? And so I stumbled across it. Well, yeah, it came to me. You know, I think with harmonium, it's one of those things I feel very much that you will come across harmonium when you're ready to receive it.
Resonance.
Because it is so powerful in what it can do. It's life-changing. And so I had very intensive, I had 3 sessions a week for 4 months. And within that time, my whole life changed, my whole life shifted. And I say to people, like, I have not had a drink for over 18 months, nearly 2 years. I didn't go to AA, I didn't go through 12 steps. I just had harmonium. You know, I haven't had an issue with my eating for over 18 months, almost 2 years. And I haven't done anything necessarily other than have harmonium. And the power of what it can do for you is so incredible. It will, honestly, it makes you more conscious of what you are doing. And when you become more conscious of what you are doing, you can become more aware of what's serving you and what is not serving you.
Amen.
Right? It's kind of like just knowing the stove is hot. It's interesting because we think they just know it,
Yeah.
but sometimes it takes a deeper realization and understanding around that. Just love that.
Absolutely.
Well, please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Yeah, at harmoniumla.com, harmoniumla.com, at harmoniumla, and that has all my information and my details, and I'm in Venice, so I am open and available for anybody that needs to come.
Absolutely. Love your heart, love your
Thank
practice.
you so much.
Yes,
So grateful to you guys.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Keep streaming. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Evertalk Live. So you might recognize our next guest is Spooky from that hit film End of Watch. Now David Fernandez is starring in Netflix's David Kramer. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's actually Selena. I'm playing the role of David Kramer, and it's the hit Selena TV show that's coming out on Netflix. So I'm excited about it.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the show.
It's a blessing. I just feel honored to be able to be a part of her legacy. I know that Jennifer Lopez really blew up after that film, and now they get to dive in depth when it comes to Selena's life. And I mean, when I started promoting it on social media, I saw the love that the fans have for her, and she was a very special being that made a huge impact in the world. And like 25 years later, the people are still there supporting her legacy and just loving her.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Tell us about your character a little bit.
I play her personal bodyguard and personal friend of the family. And I actually, through my process work as an actor, I reached out to the real David Kramer.
Oh, wow.
We are now friends. And he was just such a generous and kind soul. He was very giving, just really shared so many stories that like no one knows other than the people that experienced it during her time on tour. And I just feel very honored to be playing him and honoring him, bringing life to that.
In that process, did you learn anything that might have surprised you?
Yes, I learned more about like my son. I lost a son when I was 21 years old, at 5 months old, and the love that he had for her was like a father-daughter relationship. And so that's the level that I took it to when it comes to, like I said, honoring him in this TV show, because it's a real human being that is still living. And when he shared about his relationship with her, the respect, the loyalty, the love that he had for her, it reminded me of my son and what I have, the feelings that I have for my son. So that's kind of that's how deep it got when it came to the work. So.
Wow, incredible. So speaking of love, when did you fall in love with acting? When did you know that was going to be your thing?
It's wild. I started about close to 11 years ago, but I worked in the educational system, nonprofit world, and I was kind of overwhelmed at that time. I knew that there was time for change, and I started reflecting on my life. And I was literally 32 years old when I started doing it, and it just kind of came to me. I'm like, man, you know what? I want to pursue acting. Yeah. I want to tell stories because I've always been an artist. I've always been creative, and so I wanted to be able to find an avenue to express it. And I started as an extra on the Jim Carrey Yes Man movie, and like 80 credits later, man, I've been enjoying the ride ever since.
Yeah. Just incredible. So from the day that you started, or really committed to acting, to today, what would you say have been the greatest lessons you've learned, both as an actor, but also as a business person, like navigating the entertainment industry?
Yeah. So I'm obviously I've been directing and producing as well. So what I've taken away from it, or what I'd love to share, is that the responsibility that it comes with, right? And so for me, I connected to another passion of mine has been connecting to youth and speaking to kids all over the country. And that's what I want to implement into my stories is love, empowerment, family, connection. I'll share this that I feel is very, very close to my heart. So I've done hundreds of presentations, spoken to thousands of kids. And every time I do a presentation, literally every time, it's a part of my presentation, once I gain their trust and I set the tone, I'll challenge them to answer this question as truthfully as they can. And here's the question. I asked them, have you ever felt alone, disconnected, or like no one really knows the real you? And so literally 98 to 99% of the people, including staff members, raise their hand. And then I hit them with the uppercut, okay? Then I ask them, okay, keep your hands raised, look around, and it's usually like a 3,000 all school assembly or whatever the case is. So they're all have their hands raised. Then I hit them with the truth. I ask them, why is it that we're all feeling alone, disconnected, or like no one really knows the real us at this particular time, when all we are is surrounded by people?
Yeah.
Literally, at home, at school, at work, at our church, at our community, whatever. All we are is surrounded by people. Yeah. Why are we feeling like this? So that's my main purpose in life, is to bring connection and to remind us that we're all connected and we are all one. I connected to Mother Earth, I connected to nature, right? Mother Earth and nature is always working in cooperation. we are on the opposite side of the spectrum when it comes to that, and collectively in society. And I want to kind of bring that balance back, because what I've realized, and I'll just share this, the minute that you create a safe space to be able to be honest with ourselves, be vulnerable, be open, and share our hearts, we realize that we're all going through the same thing on one level or another. And when that magic happens, you feel like this. It's just such the most amazing experience that I've ever had, being in those spaces where we can share our hearts, be honest and open, be vulnerable, which is a very difficult thing for us to do, just in life. But when we're able to do that, the connection is magic. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
I so deeply appreciate your heart.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much. We're all mirrors, so I'm a reflection of you.
I love that.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
It's amazing, bro.
So what's next for you?
So I'm like I said, I'm in Salina. I have another project that I'm directing. It's called The Pugilist. Now we're transitioning to combat pugilists, and it's to honor the veterans. We want to bring awareness to PTSD. My vision is to own a studio, and to be able to once again tell stories of what just plant seeds of love and hope and empowerment, and do all that in very subtle ways, very entertaining ways. But those are the stories I want to tell. I just want to remind people, man.
Love
we're all in this together,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Need that message more than any other, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Please tell everyone where they can continue to find and follow you.
Yeah, at David Fernandez Jr., David Fernandez Jr., and just know that if you do follow me, all you'll see is positivity, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Come from the same cloth. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Very nice to meet you.
Keep streaming. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to Evertalk Live. We are here with the founder of Women in Power X, Alexa Carlin. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
And big, exciting news, your first expo here in Los Angeles. Tell us about it.
Yes, it's happening this Saturday at the Los Angeles Convention Center. We've been hosting conferences since 2016 in Washington, D.C., Raleigh, North Carolina, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we're so excited to be on the West Coast. We basically travel where our online community is asking us to come, and our event is really all about creating a diverse community of women, bringing them together to grow, to learn, to connect, because I'm a public speaker, and when I was speaking all over the country, I was noticing a big disconnect among women, where I would be speaking to just millennials or just women further along in their career, and I was like, we need to connect and collaborate to create real change. And so we attract women of all different ages, all different backgrounds, and all different industries.
Love this. Wow. So when a person shows up to the event, what can they expect to sort of hear and do when they're there?
So our event is one day and everything's happening concurrently. We have 3 different stages: panels, breakouts, keynotes, a networking lounge, a business marketplace of about 40 exhibitors, as well as a female founders pitch competition. And you get to pick and choose what you want to see, what you want to learn, where you want to explore, because we attract people that are angel investors or VCs or women just starting out in their career. So we have panel discussions on how to grow your net worth, how to start a podcast, We have keynote speakers like the founder of Koya, Kim Coles. We have people coming in from Australia who run big wellness centers over there. So it's really all about finding the tools, the resources, and the community of support to help you get to that next level in your career.
So who helped you get to the next level? Because I read that you were named one of the 15 young millennial go-getters to watch.
Yes, from
There you go.
So my career, I started my first business when I was 17 years old with always the mission to make a difference in at least one person's life every single day. And so I was growing at 17, designing jewelry for an LA-based fashion company, helping them build schools in Africa to help these villages become self-sustainable. And then that venture led me to starting a blog all about instilling confidence in young girls and women. Because I noticed like I didn't have the confidence needed to achieve anything. Like you have to have that confidence. And so I was really learning how to build this skill. And through that, I was in college, and a few months before graduation, out of nowhere, I got so sick. A bacteria got into my bloodstream. My body went into septic shock. I was induced into a medical coma, given a 1% chance of living. And they told my mom, call your family. She has 24 hours. It changed my entire life. 6 months after that, moved to New York City, got my dream job working at InStyle magazine in fashion while still running my blog. And I ended up getting a lot of different health challenges. And what happened was I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease from all of those antibiotics that were pumping in my body for so long in the ICU. And that has been the hardest thing to ever deal with because it's chronic. It's something I live with every day. I have fear. Am I going to be healthy enough to come here, to speak, to travel? And that really, led me to sharing my story vulnerably, authentically, and showing women like you don't have to have it all figured out to achieve what you want in life. Like, let's break down the walls, get vulnerable, get real. And it really was a community of support online that led me to wanting that in person, and that's where I started Women in Power X.
That is fascinating to me. Wow, what an incredible journey, health journey. So what would you say you've done, particularly for yourself, to instill that confidence within yourself? Like, how did a person do that? If there's a woman out there or a girl out there and they want to experience more confidence, but they're struggling, maybe they have their own health issues, or maybe they don't know where to start with the business. Of course, they'll probably show up at the event.
Yes.
But what would you recommend they do to deepen their confidence in themselves?
So one thing to realize is that confidence is a skill. And just like any skill, skills can be learned. And so two easy ways to build confidence is through repetition and knowledge, right? The more you repeatedly do something, the more confident you'll become. The first time you do an interview, you're going to be way more nervous than the 100th time. And knowledge, the more knowledgeable you are going into that meeting, going into that boardroom, going to pitch that client, the more confident you'll be. But all of that comes with taking action. And so you have to start, and you can't wait until you feel ready because you will be waiting your whole life. And another thing about confidence is that when I was in the coma, I experienced, of course, all these different visions and hallucinations. And one of the main things I was doing was I was picturing my mind to be this pure, healthy pink, and the rest of my body was black and rotting away because sepsis was killing all of my organs. And so I had a mask on my face, a tube down my throat, and I was hooked up to 9 different bags of antibiotics. So I couldn't move, breathe, or speak on my own. But I did have my mind. And so I pictured this pink color going down to the rest of my body to try and heal it. I never read this in a book. It was just intuitively what I was doing. And while I learned so much from this near-death experience, that was one of the main things I learned, was that you have to focus on the things you do have control over. And that is such a big lesson in how to build confidence.
Beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that, and for creating a platform in a space where we can come together, learn, and empower each other. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you, and of course, if tickets are still available.
Yes, tickets are still available. You go to womenempowerx, just the letter X.com to learn more. Tickets just start at $40 because we're really focused on making this the most inclusive and diverse event and accessible to everyone. And so you can get your tickets at Women Empower X, as well as follow us on Instagram and TikTok and all of the above at Alexa Rose Carlin and at Women Empower X.
Oh, thank you so much. Keep streaming. We'll be back with more.
Thank you.
So. here with the breakout actress Victoria Park from CW's The Flash. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Killing the suede today.
Oh, thank you.
And the boots. Love it.
Thanks so much.
And this entire DC
Yes.
series, by the way,
Yes.
which is one of like the fan favorites, especially
Yes.
even according to people.
Yeah.
Everyone loves this show.
Well, it's an honor to be a part of, and it's super, super fun. And yeah, it's a fan favorite, so it's definitely been a fun journey.
But what do you think it is about this show that makes it such a fan favorite?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, you know, it's a really popular comic, so you already have that fan base from like built in from the comic books,
Right.
and I think our show has a lot of heart, and we try to make people laugh, and I think people are just drawn to that.
What do you love most about your character?
Oh, I love everything about her.
Yeah.
She's really fun. She's super spunky. She's really loyal, which I love. She always shows up for her people, and we have a lot in common. So I've had a lot of fun playing her.
What do you have most in common?
It's probably a tie between our sense of humor and kind of like a sassy sense of humor,
Yeah.
and how loyal we are.
Is there any quality or trait you found difficult to sort of embrace?
She's a little tougher than I am, which
Yeah,
is fun,
it
which
is.
is nice. It's
Aspirational in that
yeah,
way.
something that I would like to achieve in my life.
Well, when you're not busy starring in the CW, we know that you recently had a film at Tribeca Film Festival as
Yes,
well. Can you tell
yes.
us a little bit about that?
Thank you. Yeah, it's called Plus One. It's a romantic comedy. It stars Maya Erskine. Her big role was, oh gosh, it's like the name is slipping me now, but she's a comedy actress, and it's a romantic comedy about her and her best friend who decide to be each other's plus ones to every wedding that they go to, end up together. Obviously, I play her sister, so it was really fun to be in that, and I got to play her sister who gets married, and then I got married right after, so a little bit
Nice.
reflecting each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lovely.
so you have a plus one.
Yes, I do have a plus one.
How do you navigate that so successfully? Because that can be really difficult being a career woman and having a healthy relationship.
Yeah, oh, it's definitely hard. But my husband, we've known each other for a long, long time. We grew up together, and we've always been very supportive of each other's careers. He's a doctor, and then I'm an actor, so we do something completely different. And I think that is really awesome. So we can kind of like, okay, you have your world, and I have mine, and we like support each other and respect each other, but we don't have a lot of overlap. And I think you just have to, prioritize your relationship and prioritize your career and just try to balance it.
Have you always prioritized your career? Was that always something that was very important to you that you?
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely prioritized my career, but it's hard because you don't want it to be your everything.
Yeah.
You want to still be able to, I think relationships are the most important thing, and that's also what we're trying to do with Good Stories, is trying to connect with people. And so I think if I were just to prioritize my career above everything else, that would be kind of unhealthy.
Yeah.
But I do have the tendency to put my career first. So
Yeah.
I have to kind of make sure that I'm balancing it out.
Yeah. What do you think it is that's made you such a successful actress?
I don't know. I mean, I think I work really, really hard, and I try to stay humble and be kind to everybody, and I think that gets you far in life in general. And then I've just been really, really fortunate and really blessed to be able to work with great people, and I don't know. I keep getting jobs. They keep coming to me. So who knows?
You're very talented. Very talented. Absolutely.
So what's next for you?
I actually started on the other side of the camera with directing and cinematography. That's why I moved to LA, and then kind of put it to the side to focus on acting. And so this will be my 10th year in LA acting. And so I think this year I'm looking to get back on the other side of the camera. I just finished directing a short film, and we're submitting it to festivals right now. It's called To Borrow to Keep. So hopefully this year I'll be doing a little more directing.
Amazing. So you started at 10. 10 years in.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Happy LA anniversary.
Right?
Thank you very much.
What do you love most about this city?
About this city, it's crazy. It's so hectic, the traffic, but I really like the people that I've met here. I think the energy is really great, and it's very rare to meet someone and not be able to just, strike up a conversation with them, and I really like that. Oh, and I also like how many dogs there are.
There are a lot of dogs in LA.
City.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you spending your evening with us.
Thank you for
Please tell
having me.
everyone where they can find and follow you.
Yes, you can follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at HeyBVP, my initials, HeyBVP.
Love that. Nice and simple.
And of course, catch her on CW's The Flash.
Yes, Tuesday nights.
Thank you so much. Keep streaming. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Evertalk Live. We are here with Gwen Hollander, who's hot off the Showtime hit Kidding. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the role and, of course, the series.
Okay, so I play on, well, the series, I'll start with the series. The series follows Jim Carrey's character, Jeff Picarillo, and he's the host of kind of Mr. Rogers type children's show called Mr. Pickle's Puppet Time. And so the show has a show within a show, and I am on the show within a show. I play Cheryl, who puppeteers Astronauter, who is a space otter.
Wow.
An astronaut otter.
I mean,
So like method acting, you know, clearly I have a lot of space otter experience,
Right.
and that's what I do.
Don't we all?
is this truly as outrageous as one would expect this experience to be? especially
Possibly
working
more
with Jim Carrey?
outrageous
Even more so,
than
yeah.
you could imagine. Yeah, it definitely was an experience where almost every episode I shot, I was like, oh, this got weirder, in the most wonderful way.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's one of the things people don't realize about Hollywood is it is weird. It's very strange.
Yeah.
It can be wildly surreal.
Surreal is the word I keep using to describe this experience. It couldn't have been more surreal and wonderful. But yeah, I mean, it's a combination of so many things. It's Jim Carrey, that's surreal, to just be alongside him. Puppets, and music,
Surreal.
puppets, there's like animation involved.
Wow.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it feel hard? Does it feel hard every day? Does it feel hard? I know it's a ton of fun, but does it feel hard?
You know what? The only thing that was hard was, I mean, they're long days
Yeah.
and it's physically demanding.
Yeah.
And I'm in a very heavy suit with like a helmet that has a fan in it. And so yeah, it came with its
There's
own
a fan
unique-
in there.
There's a fan in
Yeah.
there. It's for me to keep me cool, but also to keep it from fogging up, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
so funny. But there are some scenes where they're like, we can hear the fan, we have to turn it off. So we
Oh.
turn it off and I'm just like, don't breathe too much
Yeah, it's like,
because
she's not moving.
Yeah, you'll fuck it up. There were some moments where they were like, she's not moving. Is she okay?
Oh my
Because if
gosh.
I can't, sometimes I can't
Yeah.
hear. So they're like, can someone go tap?
Make sure she's still breathing. Oh
sure
my
she's-
gosh.
Make sure she's in there. Yeah. But no, it was
Yeah.
all a learning curve, and I figure, you figure it out.
Totally.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. And tell us a little about Future Man.
Oh, Future Man, which I actually just saw. They just announced today that the third season is going to drop
Oh, wow,
on
congrats.
April 3rd. Thank you.
Very
so,
exciting.
yeah, that was a ride too. So yeah, in that I play a past version of Josh Hutcherson's mom, who was played by Glenn Headley, who sadly has passed away. But so in this third season, so I played it in the first season, and then she's back for an episode in this season.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What a journey. So do you remember when you first started this journey?
Yes.
Yes.
I was 13 and I went on a class field trip to see The Phantom of the Opera. And I was completely blown away, and my whole life turned upside down. And in that moment, I was like, I'm going to do this.
I will
And
be Christine.
I will be. You know what's funny though? I wanted to be the Phantom.
Really?
Yeah, I
don't hear that as much.
I didn't want to be Christine.
Yeah, yeah.
I forced my friends in 8th grade in drama class. We had like a lip sync assignment,
Yeah.
and everyone was doing like Pearl Jam, and I forced my friends to do Angel of Music, but like with me as the Phantom. So cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a very cool kid.
Yeah,
Clearly,
clearly.
no, I was not cool at all.
Yeah.
So I started doing musical theater then, and I did musical theater for the first I've only been in LA for about 6 years. So it was all musical theater before that. And there's still musical theater too, but that's what I started out doing.
Yeah. When did you know it was going to be a career? Like you could make money at it? And
I don't know, the naivete of youth, you kind of just don't, I wasn't thinking
Yeah, you don't
about
have to
it.
think
So
about
I
it.
was like, oh, this is just what I'll do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got my first professional theater job at 14. And then so you just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was never it never occurred to me that I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So now, of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, you worry all the time, but at that time, that's what you want to do and you do it.
Yeah.
What would you wish you would have known then, but you know now?
I wish I would have known that everybody's journey is different, because it is so easy, especially now with social media, to have your eyes on everybody else's page and be like, oh, well, their journey looks like this, and why is mine's going to have different twists and turns, and it's going to look completely different. And so I wish I had known that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure these days. I mean, even for an actor like yourself that's successful, to sort of stay up on social media and to always be pushing a sort of social media like agenda, because a lot of people get booked off their social media.
It's very challenging for me, I think, because it doesn't come naturally to me. Like I sometimes look around, I'm like, oh, people are I guess am I supposed to post this? I guess I'm supposed to post this.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, and I also, there's this feeling, because a lot of it does feel like you kind of have to put your bet, like the highlight reel of your life.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is this feeling that's like, well, I really would like to be very honest in this moment about what's actually happening with me, but it's.
Yeah, but maybe I should rehearse that moment so it comes across
Exactly.
as cultivated perfection.
Which filter makes this moment look best?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes me really feel for just young people at this time, because I didn't grow up with Instagram, and I think it would have been very, very difficult because
it was already difficult enough.
it was hard, it's hard enough without that. And but to constantly be comparing to other people is so hard.
Well, you seem to have navigated it very
Yes.
gracefully.
It's a daily struggle, you
All
know.
the way to puppeteering with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Indeed.
Please tell everyone where they can continue to find and follow you.
On Instagram, I am Gwenstagram811.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes,
And then on
very
Facebook,
clever.
just Gwen Hollander, and on Twitter, I think also on Twitter, GwennyH811.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Instagram. Keep streaming. We'll be right back with more.
That is awesome.
Welcome back to Evertalk Live. Well, the rumor is true. We are going to Miami.
We are 305.
Special thanks to Neil Green and Jobboy Productions. We are so excited to be involved in this big event. Tell us all about it.
Oh, excited to have you. It's a great thing. Obviously, we were here 2 years ago talking about our initial conference that we had. If you remember, we did that in Mexico City. Talked about the concept. The concept is, bringing people and investments together. And obviously, with you, what you're doing right now with the Trading Bell, just the alignment of interest and the opportunity is terrific. So we're excited. We've got some great people that are going to be there, great people for you to meet, great people for us to bring together. And it's absolutely, it's like I said, it's been an evolution, but it's been terrific.
Fantastic. So talk to us a little bit about what people can expect in terms of some of the speakers and some of the conversations that will be going on there.
Right. So the conference is based on registered investment advisors and family offices. So the merge is actually something that's never been done before, because family offices and RIAs typically don't like to play in the same sandbox. But family offices obviously be brought together with the mix, and it's worked out really well because some of the RIAs actually want to merge into a family office, so it's actually brought that education together. And the way that they've collaborated has kind of created a very unique platform. The people that we have are tremendous. We've got some people from the NFL. We've got Chris Manhertz, which actually plays for the Carolina Panthers. We've got Brian Brayman that played for the Philadelphia Eagles. We've got Mike Tannenbaum that is a host on ESPN. We've got a bunch of notable speakers. Head of S&P that was formerly the head of S&P Global will be there. And again, we've got some guest speakers that I've been told are coming about that are either going to be in and around Miami, so we've got a really great lineup.
Including Jeslyn Moyer.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we've got Jeslyn Moyer.
Fantastic,
Truly,
right?
The Trading Bell. I'm just so excited about this, and it really brings up the conversation around community and how important it is to cultivate a community where people can comfortably network.
That's really what it's all about. So the networking, again, it's super high profile. So we've got everything from yourself, accountants, from lawyers, from, like I said, these family offices that are really high name, high profile people. And they come there for one reason. It's very boutique, it's very specialized, and it's not really open to the public. So I know initially we talked about asking about how do you get tickets. There are no tickets. Everybody's invite only. Everybody that comes to this is there for a particular reason. That's why you're there, right? We brought you in because we figure you have some value to add. And that's really what we bring this program to the world. We've been all over the world in different countries. Miami is next. We were just in Colombia. We'll be in Mexico City coming up in July. So it can continue to travel around the world.
But it speaks so highly of you. I mean, you're the leader of all of the, and you're able to orchestrate this community and really bring the right people together because they trust you.
Thank you. Well, I'm not a celebrity. I know you had some celebrities on earlier, but it's all about that celebrity personality, I guess. It's people like to be around what we do. I guess people like me, which is terrific. But it's just about the personality, bringing people together, and people feel comfortable, right? I mean, to come there and to travel and commit 4 days out of your life, there has to be some value. And we talk about the theme of this thing is all about invest in yourself. So we really have that dedication to, if you're going to be there, you're taking the time, you should be investing in yourself. Whether or not it's growing personally or financially or finding something in a different city. That's why we do these things around the world. You go to like places, like I said, like Colombia. People would never go out of their box to go to Colombia. The people that actually took the opportunity to come to Cartagena loved it. And that's why, again, we do cultural things. We do things where you get to meet different people. Some people have never met an NFL player and found out what his story is. So we get to put that merge together. And again, like yourself, where you're doing something different, the first female to do a trading program, the opportunity is terrific. People maybe never heard of that program, but now they will. Think about what can happen.
Yes.
I mean, that's what we do. We make things happen.
I love the concept to invest in yourself. What was the
Yes.
best investment you ever made in yourself, Neil?
Just, again, doing what I do. I mean, I've been in the business of wealth management for many years, and it's all about bringing people together. I've done that since I started my career. I mean, like I said, I worked on Wall Street, and people always used to brag to me. It's like, you know, you're this young kid bringing hot dogs to the trading desk. Like, what is that all about? I just like to have people around me. And that's from there, I've just built a career around bringing people together.
Wow. What do you think's made it so successful?
Like I said, it's very specialized. A lot of these conferences that are going on right now, they'll just invite people to have people, right?
Yes.
You can do events and you see that, okay, we had 300, 400 people. In our event, we turn people away. We'd rather have the right people than just people. Because there's two ways you can do things, right? You can just sell the numbers or you can sell the quality. I'd rather sell the quality of the attendee rather than the people. And that's really what the merge has been. People are coming to us because they know that it's real people in the room and real opportunities rather than just a bunch of groups together.
Right.
Wow. Well, we're so excited
And
to be
we are.
involved.
Yes, we
can't
are.
wait. I can't wait to experience Miami. Both of you guys. This
You're going to
is
get a tan, so next week you'll have a little bit of sunburn when you do the show. Absolutely. It's going to be terrific.
Thank you so much. Please tell everyone where they can learn more about you and Jobboy Productions.
Well, we got www.jabboy.productions, and that's it. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and obviously at our website that we just mentioned.
Fantastic.
And you'll be with us in Miami. Thanks so much for tuning in, of course. We so appreciate you on this Thursday.
Yes.
You can watch the entire episode on Evertalk TV on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great